So today I will be doing a chit chat, get ready with me. I'll be doing my makeup, but I will also be talking about how to get out of feeling stagnant, feeling stuck, how to stay motivated, how to get motivated. I'm gonna get right into doing my makeup. I won't be talking about the products that I use, but if anyone's interested, they'll all be listed down below. So yeah, and then also I have a mirror right here if you guys keep seeing me look over there. So first things first, feeling stuck and getting out of the funk and just kind of feeling like you don't know what to do all starts in your mind. So if you are sitting somewhere and you're thinking, okay, what do I do? Why do I feel like this? I don't like the situation I'm in. What can I do to either get out of the situation, make it better while I'm in this situation, or just how can I change my thinking? So like I said, a lot of it does start in the mind. It starts with positive thinking, and you guys, that changes a lot. So just changing your mindset can really put you in a different place and can get you to where you want to be by just having a positive mindset. So if you keep thinking this is it, this is how it's going to be, nothing's going to change, then that's how it's going to be, because your mind is so powerful and it's leading you to believe that you have no other choice. So one thing that I like to tell myself, tell other people, however, is to, okay, let's first start with changing your mind. So how can you make this positive? How can you make this better? What can you do to get out of that mindset? What makes you happy? And the simplest thing is either speaking it into existence or saying the opposite of what you're thinking. So if you automatically go to the negative and you're automatically like, this sucks, you can change that to, okay, well, at least I'm alive, or I'm thankful that I'm alive. And just an example, if you are at a job that you don't want to be at, and you're all day, every day, and that's all you talk about is how miserable you are, and that's all everybody knows about your job is that how much you hate it. Of course you're gonna hate it, because that's all you talk about and that's all you're focusing on. And I am guilty of that, honestly, and I've done that multiple times with my past job, and even my current job. With I'm frustrated or something's not going the way I want it to, then it's easy for me just to immediately go to the negative and just complain about that without trying to fix it or help myself get through it. So with that, like I said, changing your mindset is tip number one and pretty much the most important. Oh, whatever, the sun's getting on my nerves. Should have filmed earlier. But so yeah, number one is changing your mindset. Number two is goal setting, or writing things down. Writing things down, setting those goals. I can't still have my makeup up. If you know where you want to be, or you have a goal in mind, or you want to move out, or you want a new job, or whatever the case may be, write that down. So get you either a designated notepad, a bulletin board, start a vision board, whatever fits you and your needs and however you need to see it, whether you need to see it big and writing on your wall or you need it in the notes on your phone. I like doing notes on my phone. Works for you. So write your goal down, or write what you're trying to get out of or what you want to change. Write that down. Write everything down that you feel like you either want to change, you want to do differently, you want a new job, whatever the case may be. You want to go to college, or just whatever it is. Write that down. And then after you write that down, you need to write down the steps that it's going to take to get there. So if you want a new job, step number one would be to write down what job you want. And then after you decipher what job it is that you want and where you want to be, what qualifies you for that job? What do you have to do to get that job? Do you need your education? Do you need a degree? Do you need references? Do you need whatever it is? What do you need to get there? Write that down. And then after that, you know, continue to write down every single step. I mean, it can be the most minute step of look it up on Google. However, you can make it to where it's feasible and it's not overwhelming, because it can get overwhelming when you look at something. It's like, oh my gosh, I have all this stuff to do, or oh my God, I got all these things. It's gonna take me this long to get this, and this. But if you write it down into small steps and attack those steps one at a time, or however best suits you, then it makes that goal or what you're wanting to change more feasible. So write those things down. This will also help keep you motivated, because I know for myself, I love checking things off of a list. So I make myself a to-do list. And then also celebrate the small stuff. Celebrate those small steps and the small accomplishments that you've made to get to you know, your overall goal. Be proud of yourself for that, because that is the first step. You can't get anywhere, you can't do anything differently if you don't put in the work. And actually, speaking of that, my mom, I was talking to my mom the other day, and she said, we were talking about, I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but she said, there's no halfway to do excellence. Or in other words, there's no way to half do excellence. So you can't expect an excellent outcome, or expect this grand thing to happen if you don't put in the work. So if you are just doing the smallest things to get you to where you need to be, then celebrate that. Celebrate that, okay, I'm finally on my way to get to where I want to be. And then that also goes with, be okay with letdowns, or be okay with things not working out the first time. And just know that that's okay, and it's life, and everything is not going to work out like the first time at all. I mean, and it may, I won't say at all, because there's different occasions where things do work out. But just know that, like, everything is not gonna work out. And when that happens, you have to be able to stay in that positive space and be like, okay, that didn't work out. So either what do I need to do differently, or do I need to try harder, or just try again. So, and be okay with the timing of it all. God's timing and his plan for our lives obviously comes first. So things are not always going to work out, especially if it's not God's will for our life. And if God has already, God has already planned out our lives, and he knows where we're supposed to be and where we're going to be. So yeah, you're not going to get into that school, or you're not going to get that job, because that's not where God has a space for you. That's not where he wants his child. So that is also another big thing to remember, is that, okay, maybe that just wasn't for me. It's not time. It wasn't for me. There's something better. And so just know how to deal with those letdowns, and how to kind of pick yourself back up from it, because they will happen. Is just knowing what else you can do. Oh, I hope I didn't get my hair wet, and I did. And come up with multiple options, because like I said, everything may not work out the first time. So come up with some multiple options. Plan B, whatever you want to call it. I like to call them options, because plan A, plan B, I don't like that. I like to have options. To me, it just sounds better. Y'all, I'm fighting this light. So yeah, just have your options and have each step that it'll take for every option. Now, don't give yourself too many options, because that's when you become indecisive. That's when it becomes overwhelming, and that's when it's easier to give up, because you're like, I have all these things that either I want to do, that I can do. So focus on 1 or 2 things, however many that you can handle, and actually work towards them. Do those. Oh, baby. What? Y'all gonna come kiss me?
No, you're doing a video. I didn't want to interrupt. I had to hear, but
I'm already talking to you. Yeah, so with that, have your options, but make them feasible options. Narrow it down, focus on what it is that you want to do. And also another thing with feeling stuck and stagnant, don't feel stuck or stagnant, or don't let the reason that you feel stuck or stagnant because of other people, and because of comparing yourself to other people. You feel like, well, dang, they you know, they doing this, they doing that, why I'm not doing that, we the same age or whatever. Don't let that be the reason you feel stuck. Now, if it's something that you're really uncomfortable with, or something that you really want to do for yourself, then yes, make those goals, work to actively achieve those, and stick to it, and just, you know, put in the work. That's the big thing. You have to put in the work to get the results, and it's not going to come easy, and it's not going to be something that you can just BS your way through. And if it is, you might want to think about that, sis. You might want to think about what it is that you really want for yourself, because if you can achieve something by BSing your way through it the full time, and that's all, and that's what got you to where you're at, then, I mean, unless that works for you, then that works for you. But for me, I don't necessarily feel as accomplished as I could if I know I didn't put in the work. So, yeah. And then another thing, the last thing that I kind of want to touch on is being in that place of feeling stagnant, but being comfortable. So, yes, you can be in this place and you're like, well, this is how it is. This is how it's gonna be. I'm comfortable here. I'm secure here. I know the people, you know, so forth, so on and so forth. So you stay in that place, but you're obviously unhappy. People that you confide in and people that you talk to know that you're unhappy, but you're not doing anything to resolve that. You're not doing anything to change it because you're comfortable and you're scared of change. And this is me speaking from experience, and something that I had to deal with last year. And the end result was not a pleasant one, but it taught me a lot. So I'll kind of tell you guys, last year, at the end of last year, and about almost 3 years, I had worked at this job. And when I first started it, I loved it. And till the day that it ended, I loved it, but I wanted more for myself. And I was, in the nicest way possible, overqualified for that job. I had my degree in social work. I had my license, and what I was doing, I didn't require all of that. And I enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, I need to be doing more. I want to do more. I went to this expensive ass school. I need to be using this degree. Like, I need to be doing something that I really want to do. Like, yes, I love the kids that I'm with. Yes, I love what I'm doing. Yes, I enjoy the people I work with, but this is not it. But I was so scared to step out and try to do something else, because I was like, okay, I've been here for the past 2.5, almost 3 years. I know these people. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at it. the kids love me, the parents love me. You know, I was just so comfortable there. And finally, and this is after ignoring, being hard-headed and ignoring the signs and ignoring God and not putting myself out there to change my situation. So God stepped in and was like, okay, you don't want to listen? I'll take care of it for you. And I got fired. Your girl got fired. So I ended up getting fired from that job. And I won't go into details, of course, but I don't agree with it. And it wasn't anything that I necessarily did, but I know that it happened for a reason. So the fact that I wasn't moving fast enough and I wasn't being obedient, God stepped in and was like, I got you, boo. I got you. I'm gonna help you out because clearly you're not listening. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm gonna get you out of there in the only way that I know is gonna make you leave. Because y'all, I even went on one job interview, like actually a little bit before I got fired. And I mean, they just went crazy over me. They're like, oh my gosh, why are you, you know, working here? And it was like, you are so overqualified. We love you. You have so much more to offer and so much more to give than, you know, what you're giving here and what your job is allowing you to give. You have so much more, and just on paper, you know, outside of me talking to them, they're like, on paper, you need to be somewhere else. Like, you need to go. And y'all, in that interview, I cried. I literally cried, and I had to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, this is probably like weird for y'all, but I needed to hear that. I needed to hear somebody be like, what are you doing? Even though I'm sure I heard it from other people close to me, but it took an outside person to really push me to move forward. And then even after that, I still didn't, because I went right back to work like nothing happened. Literally right after my interview, changed my clothes, went right back to work. And I didn't get that job. And so when I didn't get that job, instead of me taking that as motivation, I used that as, okay, well, maybe it's not time for me to leave. Just me thinking, not talking to God about it, not really sitting down and being like, okay, Mimi, like for real. I took it as, it's not time for me to go. So went right on back to work. And I don't remember exactly when I went to that interview, but literally it was in November, I got fired. So, of course, that put me into a deep sadness, pretty much a depression. It definitely was a depression, and it was situational, so I'll be specific and say it was a situational depression that I was in because of, obviously, the situation I was in. And y'all, that time, that month, that was rough. It was really rough. And I finally had to pick myself up with the help of my boyfriend and my family and be like, okay, what do I need to be doing? What can I do? What job I need to be at? God, where I'm supposed to be. And literally, y'all, a month later, literally like almost to the day, a month later, I got a job in my field. Like literally a month later. And when I went to that interview, I submitted my application, and I'm pretty sure I got a call the next day to come in for an interview. Went in for the interview, and the lady was like, I don't even want to ask you nothing else. I love you, so I'll be in contact. And this was before Thanksgiving. So I got fired first, probably like early November. And I took, you know, a couple weeks to get myself together. And so by the time I filled out the application, did all that, it was like right before Thanksgiving when I went on my first interview with that company. And the lady was like, okay, we love you, you know, well, I'll give you a call. I know it's holidays coming up, So I'll be in touch, if not before, then after. So she literally called me while I was on the highway to Oklahoma, like right before Thanksgiving, and said, we would love to set up your second interview like right now. She was like, I've already talked to our CEO, and she wants to meet you just off of the things that I told her about you. So when can you come in? And I literally went in probably that Monday after Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure it was that Monday. And there were so many signs and like so much confirmation that that's where I was supposed to be. Got the job. And yeah, that is really when I learned, I guess you would say, and stuck with the belief of you got to stay motivated and you got to make stuff happen for yourself, because if not, life is going to make it happen for you, and whatever your beliefs are, God's going to make it happen for you. And it may not always be pleasant. It may not be the way you want it to go out, and it may not be how you wanted for it to end. But if you help God and you take control and, you know, follow his path and follow his word, then you can get to where you want to be. And the last thing I'll kind of end this with is the quote that really got me through that time in my life, because that really felt like the worst thing ever that happened to me. And the quote, and I actually still have this on my lock screen, and I've had it on there since then, but it's the quote says, sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the best thing that would ever happen to us. So just that little quote. Sometimes bad things are going to happen. Sometimes we are going to be unhappy, but this is preparing us for the good things that are going to come. So with that, you have to get out of that feeling. You have to get out of feeling stuck. You have to be able to stay motivated. You have to realize that I need to be positive, and I need to know that it's going to get better. So yeah, that is that. So hopefully that helps someone, because it definitely helped me, and it still helps me, because I still have goals and things that I want to achieve, that I'm actively working towards. So hopefully that was helpful, and that you guys can take something from this and either apply it to your life or just share it. But either way, like I said, this is something that I'm passionate about, and so a lot of my sit down videos will be topics that are similar, or not even similar, but you know, just motivational, inspirational, get it going type videos. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions or anything that you want me to talk about, feel free to leave that in the comments down below, and it could be anything. And also, if you are wanting like personal advice on something, I am going to start putting my email address down in the description box for emails, and I will, if you want it to be, which I probably will just do it, I'll talk about it in a video, but I'll do it anonymously. So it'll be kind of like, you know, little advice form. So thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.